Hello, welcome to Wing Zero Duality. Thanks for tuning in, again, returning viewers. There's a number of you. And for new viewers, we're going to touch upon a sensitive topic. A topic of which may cause anxiety. A topic of which may cause confusion or concern. And a topic of which, if followed through carefully, with a sense of courage, a sense of confidence, then the topic is of one that can put oneself at ease. Because the automated nature of thought is simply that, automated. That very nature does not entail any conclusion about oneself, each other, or the world. But due to the automated nature of thought, it being the mechanism, might start seeking, searching, analyzing. When rather, can it be possible to have insight as to this mechanism? And to be able to break it down for oneself. And that last part about oneself, one's own sense of agency, one's own sense of resilience when it comes to having the courage to stand alone, to completely look for oneself without the need to depend on the experts, the great analyzers, the great theorists, but rather as an average person, an average human being, to be able to look inwardly with enough of a degree of seriousness as the world and its challenges beset upon us. We can see for ourselves that this world is increasingly more chaotic. Is it not? Much uncertainty lies at the heart of many cultural, political, and economic issues. We can turn on the TV or scroll through YouTube and see an immense amount of debate, fighting, corruption, excess, and on the other hand, entertainment that is mindless, a distraction from problems that persist. And so, what is one to do when it appears that to come upon an exterior solution to things creates limited results, and where there is limitation, conflict erupts? The only place left is to look inward. Because as we can see, the rich people of the world, the powerful people of the world, cannot resolve for these problems. Problems which have persisted throughout humanity's history. We don't have to go through them all. We know what they are. But it appears that with the advent of technology and the pace at which we can come into contact with the happenings of the world, that these problems and the debate and analysis over solving these problems have become increasingly more chaotic. So, what does it mean to look inwardly? And what does the automated nature of thought have to do with the problems that seem to have no beginning or end to them? Does trying to solve problems through the limited scope of knowledge, right, because knowledge is always limited, does that approach not create for the very limitations that spurn more conflict? And when coming upon the mechanism of AI, which can gather knowledge, memory, and experience, apply it, send it, what then of the nature of the division we see in society between political ideologies, between martial arts styles, between religious ideologies? And the list goes on. You see, we're not here to analyze or look into in order to know more about these divisions. As we can see, we can turn on the YouTube, or we can go to a AI, an LLM, and ask it, tell me, show me, what is there to know about this conditioned perspective? And surely we will find there's much to know about the history, the points made by these conditioned perspectives, and the constant struggle between all of these limited perspectives. Now, I'm not saying that limited perspectives are wrong, but rather that limited perspectives are simply that, limited. So they must always bounce back and incur a different limited perspective. And it appears that the human being when identifying with thought, as if there is a thinker separate from thought, becomes taken by this stream of automation, like a river. A river that continuously flows and reasserts and struggles to maintain a sense of continuity as to the nature of one's own conditioned perspective. And so throughout one's day, as a average person, waking up and going through one's day, sensory input is always at an interplay with memory and knowledge. And this need for the tool of thought seems to cross lines with the reiteration of identity. What is daily life free from this automated process? Obviously, thinking is necessary. Thinking in imaginative ways can be fun. But what when thinking is the tool to come upon resolution? Can thinking bring about a resolution dependent on its own conclusions? Or is there critical thinking which is so critical that it comes upon its own limitation and thus allows for observation to go from there beyond its own limitations? What does it mean to be free from this mechanical response that the automated nature of thought brings about? What kind of a courage does it take to step out of this systematic approach of which most people find themselves taken by? Taken, consumed, changed from one limitation to another, never coming upon an observation which is one that has never been touched before, that the past, being thought itself, cannot come upon. What does it mean to stand on one's own 2 feet as such? Something that only you can come upon. And to come upon freedom from a mechanical way of living brought about through the automated nature of thought, society structure changes at an instant. No longer do such limitations exist as the cause of conflict. No longer is it impossible to communicate across a resolution which is whole, which is both inner and outward. a resolution that can be applied through the use of knowledge, although limited. Its very limitation then allows for it to unveil itself, to be able to be creative with such limitations, to be able to flow, map out, connect through such limitations in order to set the groundwork to go beyond limitations together, free from the divisions of which are ignited inwardly. Whether society as a whole, as we can see, are not very interested. Whether society as a whole can come to this question, to these questions asked here, will be very critical as, I'm sorry, there's mosquitoes all around here, as the computer sophistication becomes more prominent and the divisions of which society has maintained and passed on from generation to generation reveal themselves to be too slow, too much of a burden for future generations to move forward together. Such is the question we're coming upon, slowly but surely. And after all, today is the only day you have to feel this out for oneself, to feel what it's like to have this stranglehold lifted just for today.